everyone. Thank you for waiting so patiently. We are about to go live with this session of Careermap's National Intern Week with Aldi. Before we get started, I'm Sharon Walpole. I'm from Careermap. I will be monitoring the chat and hosting for the Q&A later. But before we begin, just a few housekeeping things. As I mentioned, there is a chat box on the right. Feel free to ask questions throughout. I'll be gathering those up for Q&A after. So be patient, we'll get to you and we'll try to get to as many as possible. This session is being recorded, so if you want to watch it again or share with others, it'll be available for Careermap TV. I will put the link in the chat shortly. But I think that's everything for now. If we could have Nicola join me. Hi, Nicola. I'll leave you to it and I'll see you guys. Oh, and Nicola and Liv. I'll leave you two to it and I'll see you guys later after the presentation.
Thank you. Okay, so hello everyone. Thanks so much for joining us for today's National Internship Week webinar entitled Leading Today, Learning Today, Leaders of Tomorrow. So we've got a jam-packed hour ahead of us, so let's make a start with some brief introductions. So with us today we have myself, Nicola, and we have my colleague Liv as well. So we'll both do a brief introduction to ourselves, but you will get to know us a lot more throughout the presentation. So as mentioned, you're joined by myself, Nicola. I'm based in Bolton, our Bolton head office, and I work in our area manager, placement and apprenticeship recruitment team. So screening those all through the candidate journey. And I'll pass on to Liv for a brief introduction too.
So I'm Liv and I am also based in the Bolton office, and I am the the National HR Industrial Placement holder. Obviously not originally from Manchester, Bolton area, but very happy to be here today. So yeah.
Brilliant. So the Aldi recruitment team manage the end-to-end process of every application received for all graduate and career changer area manager roles, and our retail management and head office placement roles across GB. The recruitment teams are based within our Atherstone head office and our Bolton regional office, where we focus on all elements of the employee life cycle. So this covers attraction, recruitment, training, career progression, health, well-being, and benefits for all of our 45,000 colleagues that we have here with us at Aldi. So during the next hour, we aim to provide you with an overview of Aldi, our placement opportunities, and also what makes us an award-winning employer. We will even give you some inside information, some hints and tips on how to apply, and talk through what to expect during our recruitment process as well. Finally, we will end our time together with a Q&A session. So we understand that there is lots to consider when applying for your placement, and some of you may not have been through a recruitment process like this before. So this is your opportunity to ask any questions you might have for us. And you can either drop these in the chat function at any point, or we'll open up the floor at the end for any questions. And we'll also aim to answer as many questions as we can, as that's what we're here for today. So I'll just change to the next slide. So this is Aldi News. Oh, Liv, sorry, I think you muted. Apologies.
Oh, sorry. So this is Aldi Means More. So why join Team Aldi on our placements? Here are some of the reasons why Aldi means more. So Aldi is one of Britain's fastest growing supermarkets with more than 1,020 stores and over 45,000 colleagues. Our supermarket believes in making every day amazing and delivering in the best possible value for millions of families throughout the UK and Ireland. At Aldi, we know our success has only been possible thanks to our amazing colleagues, which is why our staff benefits span across discounts on gym memberships, cinema tickets and holidays, as well as fantastic salaries, well-being perks and secondment opportunities. We understand that amazing doesn't happen overnight, and this is why we are making changes to be greener, fairer and healthier every day. From sourcing sustainable produce, reducing our plastic and packaging waste, working with amazing charities such as our partnership with the Teenage Cancer Trust and also our partnership with Team GB and Paralympics GB, aim to ensure that we are constantly working to make these changes every day. Our credentials speak for themselves, and we are really proud to have been awarded Employer of the Year at the Grocer Gold Awards for 2 years running in 2022 and 2023. Placed in the Best 100 Student Employers for Rate My Placements Top 100 Award, as well as being consistently placed in the Times Top 100 Graduate Employers. Now we are going to play a clip where you can hear from our placement students.
No problem at all. We'll just wait here for the delay. But like we've said, if you've got any questions at all throughout the webinar itself, do feel free to pop them in the chat and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Essentially, this video will just cover a little bit about Aldi, kind of our placement opportunities and kind of what that looks like from a placement colleague's perspective when they do join the business. So hopefully this gives you a bit more insight and yeah, we look forward to sharing that with you. So I'll continue. So what will you need to apply for Aldi's placement programs? So you will need to be working towards a 2-1 undergraduate degree across any degree discipline at all, have 96 UCAS points or 63 Scottish Highers or equivalent from your top 3 A-levels, Highers or international qualifications. You'll need to be holding a full UK driving licence, and for our retail management placement, you will need to have access to a car as well. Have the right to work in the UK, and also be ready to take on any challenge, as we're looking for individuals who can use initiative and always strive for smarter and simpler ways of doing things. We are a cost-saving business and always look for ways to improve our efficiencies, of course. Please note that our placement programmes are for university students currently studying towards an undergraduate degree who are seeking a placement between their 2nd and 3rd years of study. I'll continue on to the next slide just in case we're having a couple of tech issues with the video, so I'll continue. So a year in industry is a really great way to see how a company works, but our retail management placement programme provides so much more. So across the year, you'll experience real responsibility, and in fact, fast rotations across store and office environments will give you a real snapshot of our business and the skills you need to succeed. So during your placement, some of your key areas of responsibility will include rolling up your sleeves and seeing exactly what happens in our stores, from stacking shelves to serving customers, shadowing store managers and experiencing their challenging, rewarding and stimulating role. It's about learning to lead successful teams and creating an environment where people really feel involved and motivated. Also taking on the role of an operational assistant store manager. So this is your time to really develop your management skills. Learning everything from streamlining distribution to vehicle tracking and routing, as head office and logistics is an invaluable part of your training. And also collaborating on project briefs to improve your areas across trading and logistics. Here you can see your work have long-lasting impact on regional or even national decisions as well.
Apologies, we're on it. I'll be with you in a second.
No problem at all. I'm happy to continue with this slide, but just in case, obviously the video will be shown during this slide as well. So if retail management placement isn't for you, perhaps our placement opportunities in our head office would be of interest. So Aldi's head office, based in the Midlands, is a fast-moving, dynamic and open plan environment where over 1,400 of our colleagues are based. So everything that happens here drives the stores and logistics side of the business, and the business depends on the actions and decisions made at head office. So it's a place where you're trusted to think for yourself and take complete ownership over your role. Located in Atherstone, Aldi recruit for placement candidates to join their national department with opportunities specialising in buying, in supply chain, IT, real estate and customer interaction as well. We know just how challenging a programme like this can be, which is why we'll reward you generously for it. So on top of amazing benefits, you'll receive a £26,000 salary for the 12 months that you spend with us, and you will have the opportunity for flexible working potentially, depending on the route or placement that you go down. So if you're interested in brushing shoulders with our CEO, Giles Hurley, or our Managing Director of Corporate Buying, Julie Ashfield, who you might recognise from our series, Aldi's Next Big Thing, we have head office placements available, and you can visit our careers page for more information.
Great. Well, I'm happy to say that we've got the video now. So if you hang fire, we'll get that started.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Okay, brilliant. So hopefully you all enjoyed that insight into our placement students and kind of what life at Aldi could look like for yourself if you do join us. So of course, let's move across to the next slide. With that being said, so why join us on our placement programmes? Well, the responsibility and exposure and the training, and of course the salary as well. But the top of the list should be the opportunity to get involved, give more, and get even more back. So as you will see from the image displayed on the screen, we offer a rewarding and varied benefits package from a £26,000 salary for the 12 months that you spend with us, 4 weeks holiday allowance plus bank holidays, discounts on gym memberships, cinema tickets and more, and an excellent wellbeing programme and access to the My Benefits platform as well. So we're now going to play another clip where you can hear from our placement students, one of them who joined us with our retail management placement.
Just wait for the slides to come up. There we go. So hopefully hearing from some of our placement colleagues have given you a great insight into life at Aldi. I'm now going to discuss with you my experience as an HR placement colleague. So as I said before, I'm Liv, I'm 20 years old and I'm originally from the Midlands, and I've relocated to the Manchester area for this role at the Aldi Bolton regional office. I'm currently enrolled at Cardiff University. This placement year is essentially my third year of university. After this year, I'll return back to Cardiff University for my fourth year. So I study business management with a professional placement year included into that course. And I am the current HR industrial placement holder at Aldi. So quickly on HR, why HR for me? I know this doesn't apply to all, but I'll just quickly run through for me why it was the decision I made in the end. I did some good HRM modules, human resources management at university, and it piqued my interest. It affects everyone, and it's making me ask questions such as, what are the three key, the accelerating neurodiverse landscape? I was interested in this as I fall under this group of people. How will HR develop alongside this to accommodate it when recruiting? Accommodating all types of people in the workplace was another key point of focus for me. And the new kind of trend, that is, why is it so hard for under 30s to get a well-paid job? These were the real big things that I wanted to find out upon entering this placement. And Aldi is notorious for being one of those companies that, take someone on when they're, just developing early in life, and, they can go from being within store assistant to a store manager, or a graduate to an area manager. There is so much growth within this company. So that is one of my main factors of wanting to learn more. So why did I do a placement in general? So I didn't know what I wanted to do a year ago, and I attended a few human resource management lectures at my university, and I thought doing a placement would establish my idea of being part of HR as a future career. Aside from that, if you do a placement, it will increase your employability by far. It gives your CV that edge that others might not have. And I've been working since I was about 12 years old. I had my first job as a student host where I taught kids English and brought them into British civilization. I've never had an office job in my life. I've done bar work and all that. So having this experience of being in such a corporate environment is invaluable, and it's preparing me for the working world post-uni. So I also needed to find out where I thrive, like what department or sector interests me. Am I good at it? Do I enjoy it? And I came into Aldi with the idea of working in HR, and I've been here almost 3 months and I enjoy it, and I'd like to think my performance-wise I'm doing quite well. But you don't have to know what to do in the long term in order to do a placement. In fact, I think in an ideal world, if you don't know what you're going to do, the best thing for yourself is to do a placement. I strongly encourage to do a placement to help you find where you fit within the workforce or within a sector or a department. You get to find out a rough idea of what you like and what you don't like, your style of working. Do you like hybrid? Do you like working in teams? Do you want to work just in an office? Do you want to work individually? Do you want to be an entrepreneur, or do you want to run a team within a bigger company? It's kind of finding out where you want to fit in the workforce. There's also the type of business you want to work in. Do you want to work in a startup? Do you want to work in an established business? And lastly, it's important to understand other business characteristics. This could impact your view on where you want to work. So does the company values line up with yours? And does the company values even matter to you? These are all things that you need to think about when you choose a placement, just as I did last year. So what I want for my career in terms of why I chose the placement in the end is placement for me was a way to establish what I do and don't want for my future career. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do office work, hybrid work, did I want to be part of a startup? And finding where I want to be in the long term was my main motive for having a placement. So why Aldi? And that is a question that comes up again and again and again when you apply for a placement. Why do you want to be at this company? So why I wanted to be at Aldi, first of all, an award-winning employer. So it was a given that I knew their placement program would be good, and it's got a clear external competitive nature currently. It's got rapid growth. It's very popular. It's got new store openings all over the place, which is a tangible evidence of growth, which I paid very good attention to, because new store equals new staff equals recruitment, which means HR. So it was a really good time to enter into this placement, especially as an HR placement holder. I had a first-hand experience of an accelerating business, and Aldi's currently in the top 4 of UK supermarkets, which is a new development. It's exciting to be here. It's all changing. It's all growing so fast, and it's nice to be a part of the change and experience it, firsthand with people who are also experiencing it firsthand, who have been in this business for years. So I applied for 60 plus placements last year, which is an outrageous number, and it was a lot of applications. And Aldi had the only placement in terms of HR that offered many different experiences. I'll be a part of 9 different teams this year, whereas other businesses only offered me to be a part of the one team. I get to kind of taste all the flavors, if you put it that way. So that's essentially what came to it in the end, is that I'll gain more knowledge and breadth of, wisdom or experience by just being here for 12 months in 9 different teams. And any placement you do at Aldi will impact your learning during and post university. I've been here 3 months and I already feel like I have completely new perspective when it comes to university work and my skill set. Personal characteristics was a big thing for me when choosing Aldi. I thrive in a well-constructed, formulaic place, which is Aldi to a T. And I wanted to explore that kind of compatibility with Aldi and HR as a department. Aldi is also helping younger generations actually develop within their roles, proving growth from assistants to managers within stores, graduates to area managers. And I'm wondering where I'm going to end up with Aldi's guidance, which is just another reason that there's this obvious growth that you can visibly see within the company. You can see the graduates turning to area managers. You can see the store assistants turning to store managers. And I wanted to be in a place where that can actually happen, and you can see it for yourself. So when I applied for a placement at Aldi, the aim was the HR placement. However, I did apply to the retail management placements and other business orientated placements. I applied for multiple roles within Aldi because I knew this is where I was going to gain the most in terms of hands-on experience and a breadth of knowledge. I genuinely feel like no university, college or school can teach you what you learn in your placement year. So with that, I was quite picky when it came to what business. You gain life skills here as well as knowledge. And I can confirm that this, even though I've only been here for 3 months, 3 months here was like 2 years at uni, what feels like. I've gained so much more knowledge, and my understanding of the workforce and the working world is so much more, broad now. So lastly, my placement program so far, so a bit of an overview. Upon arriving, I had a 5-week training plan. This flew by. It was basically a 3-week, the first 3 weeks was like a masterclass on how to recruit at Aldi, and I became a part of a really exciting new team. I got to experience operational change firsthand, and then I got to do what everyone gets to do at some point at Aldi. All colleagues will do this. I did a store week. I spent a whole week in store working as a store assistant. This was amazing, to be honest. Lots of people, it can be quite intense, but it was such a good experience in order to understand the company as a whole. Even though I'm at one of the head office placements, it's so good to see what it is, because Aldi is the stores. Aldi is not just an office. Aldi is supermarkets, and seeing that firsthand is super important, especially for my understanding for the business. I did a week with an area manager, which was an insight into my potential future at Aldi if I ever wanted to do the area manager graduate scheme. When I came, the environment was super welcoming. There was no question that was too silly. Collaboration happens every day without even trying. Everyone is so tight, as a tight group, and you can literally ask anything, lean on each other for information. It was really, really nice and really easy to slot in, I guess. I got consistent feedback. I still am. I always am aware of how I'm doing performance-wise. I feel supported by all colleagues in my development. Currently, I get feedback once a week from either my mentor or my direct leader. But I get feedback every day from my colleagues, and being vocal about things you're struggling with or stuff that you aim to get out of the year can create targets with your colleagues and especially your leaders, so you hopefully achieve. You set your own goals, but you also have goals within Aldi and what they expect of you. So it's kind of like you're collaborating on being an overall very well-rounded Aldi employee by the end of the 12 months. Lots of meets and greets I did in my training plan, so the past few weeks, and I got to meet most of the HR team at Bolton, and I also visited the head office in Atherstone. Since the training plan has been over, I've been given a lot more responsibility. I have loads more personal targets to meet, and I work amongst the team doing the exact same work as they do. You are given the same responsibility, which is a really nice feeling, and it really, gives you a good idea of where you want to fit within a company. With everything, I think there's always like an Aldi way for it. In my training plan, it's evident that Aldi is all about organisation, effectiveness, and learning opportunities. I feel consistent support, and colleagues want me to succeed. They want you to develop, and it's a really great feeling when they're encouraging you to on this path that I moved up here from the Midlands. I had no idea what I was doing, but they're kind of supporting you every step of the way, both professionally and personally from time to time. So all colleagues have experience working in a store at some point in their Aldi career, and all training is relevant. That's the only thing I can say about placements. Everything you learn this year will be relevant to you at university, in your first job outside of university, in a master's degree. Everything will be relevant to where you end up. So that is a little bit about me and my placement. So hopefully you enjoyed me sharing my journey with you so far. I will now talk you through the application process for Aldi's placement programs and give you some useful hints and tips. You are more than welcome to take some notes, and if you think of any questions, please feel free to ask at the end during the Q&A session. Right, so the application process. I'm now going to talk you through our placement recruitment process. As you can see from the screen, it is made up of 4 stages. So stage 1 is the online application. Our open question in the application form will allow you to tell us everything you know about Aldi and why you want to join us on a placement and work with our amazing teams. We are going to ask you a whole variety of questions about what motivates and inspires you, and you can use examples from anything in your life, including hobbies, societies, and employment. There's a lot to get in here, so that no need to rush it. I literally took a week to do this application, so seriously, don't rush it. Take your time. Make sure you read it through, or even get someone else to proofread it for you. So your second stage will be a video interview. First impressions go a long way, so think about where you want to record your interview and how you want to present yourself. Make sure your answers relate to the questions that appear, but say something we'll remember. The third stage will be the group or individual assessment. We are currently holding virtual group assessments. It might not be face-to-face, but it's still really important to prepare. Think about how you want to present yourself and how you want to engage with your assessor. Make sure you get your knowledge of the company across, but give other candidates the opportunity to showcase their skills too. At this stage, we are looking for leaders, but you also need to be able to work well with a variety of different people in a team if you're successful. So show us you can do this. And finally, you'll have your final interview. The people you need to impress when you get to the final interview are our managing directors. They will focus on 3 key areas. Firstly, yourself. Focus on all areas of your life, not just work. The second key area is being able to talk about Aldi, so really do your research. We want to see your drive and passion for the business. And thirdly, we are looking for you to demonstrate certain competencies, for example, leadership and teamwork. Going on to some hints and tips. Personality. Right, so first impressions will go a long way. So, lots of smiles, well dressed, just come with, enthusiasm and professionalism, and you should go far. We receive lots of applications to our program each year, so you will need to stand out from the crowd, and you need to think outside the box with your examples and let your personality really shine through. Proofread and practice. Check your work. There is no time limit on the online application, so ensure you take your time and think of the best answers. Also, get family or friends to proofread your application. This is your first impression to the business, so make it count. There is also an opportunity to practice video interviews, so ensure you use these so you are prepared for the real thing. Leadership and teamwork is another hint and tip. To be successful during your role, you will need to be able to lead by example and work well in teams. Our Aldi stores are successful due to the excellent teamwork we encourage, as well as the high standards we set. Ahead of your application, think of strong examples which you can feel demonstrate this, and try to be structured with your answers. Within this role, you will have to roll up your sleeves and work together. Research Aldi. This is super important. We recommend visiting Aldi stores. Make sure to do your research of Aldi and our business model. Our website is a great starting point. We have a lot of information on there for you to read and watch. We also have the digital placement brochure and would suggest reading this in detail to understand what will be expected of you. The Grocer is a great publication to read as well. There is a lot of articles about Aldi, but also on our competitors in the wider retail market. Take notes of any questions you might have whilst doing your research, as there is opportunity to ask these if you are successful to the assessment and final interview. Resilience. To be a successful placement candidate, you will need to be able to move on quickly from setbacks and be adaptable to change in a fast-paced environment. So think of strong examples which you feel can demonstrate this. Lastly, be punctual. Be punctual and dress professionally. If you are successful in attending an assessment or final interview, if your assessment is virtual, we would recommend checking your camera, audio, and Wi-Fi prior to attending. But Final interviews are taking place in person. So if you are successful, check the location to plan your journey and do a practice journey if you can.
Great, so we'll now talk you through the assessment structure for the placement programmes, the role of assessors and what Aldi are looking for. So as previously mentioned, you are more than welcome to take some notes, and if you think of any questions at all, we do have a Q&A session at the end to ask any questions you may have. Okay, so for the group assessment structure, assessors start by providing a brief introduction about Aldi. They then do some introductions before we go into the activities, so just introducing the room, the other candidates that will be being assessed alongside yourselves. And then once the introductions are complete, you will move on to the first activity, which is the Aldi store walk presentation. Then we'll take a short break in which you can forget about the assessment for 10 minutes and put the first half of the assessment completely to one side. The second half of your assessment is an individual task that will lead into a group discussion between all of the candidates. And then once that activity is completed, the assessor will then provide some information about next steps, and there is some time for you to ask any questions about the role or recruitment process, or Aldi as well, if this has not already been covered in your assessment so far. So Aldi assessors have a lot of responsibilities throughout the assessment to ensure that you have a positive, inclusive and fair experience. So importantly, they assess each of you individually, not as a group, and they do this by assessing against each of the core competencies of the role. Reasonable adjustments will be discussed with the candidates if they requested any, and they will always use their discretion as well. Assessors do take notes, and you will probably see them doing this, but whatever they write is purely factual. It's also an assessor's role to ensure that everyone is treated fairly throughout the process, to ensure consistency and to create an inclusive environment. And finally, assessors aren't there to trip you up or catch you out at all. They want you to enjoy the experience as best you can. So really try to put your nerves to one side. It's their job to make you feel comfortable throughout the assessment. So what are Aldi assessors looking for at this stage? So these are the qualities and characteristics that Aldi assessors believe are important to display during the assessment. So to summarise some of these, it's all about how you have genuine interest and enthusiasm for our business and a career opportunity with us, that you're able to identify key information within tasks. You can show you have leadership qualities, that you can take control and give direction when necessary without overpowering others, that you can listen and understand others' thoughts and value their ideas. You can be effective in decision making, but can also drive the group toward a conclusion. You can work collaboratively with others, be a team player and ensure everyone gets their say. And finally, communicate confidently, clearly and professionally throughout. So we will now hear from Afonso, who completed our retail management placement and returned as a graduate area manager. So this will give you an insight into your potential life after your placement here with us at Aldi. Okay, so we would just like to take the time to thank you all for joining our webinar today, and we really hope that it's given you an insight into our placement programmes here at Aldi. We'd also, of course, like to thank Careermap for working with us to deliver this presentation. As you'll see on screen, there is a QR code which will take you directly to our placement brochure and apply links as well. So yes, thank you all again, and I would just like to open up the floor for any questions that you might have for us at Aldi, or any questions you might have for Liv, of course, from our placement.
Great. Well, like I said, I've been monitoring the chat and pulled some together, but obviously please keep dropping them in, or if there's any come on from some of the answers that you want to, we can see if we can get to those as well. So as I said, grouped them together, and to start with, it was about the questions around application, joining, and so on. You did a great job, great tips shared by Liv for the application process and for the group assessment structure. We did have a question saying, do you have any tips, in regards to the tips? This young person says that they are an introvert and they're worried about the assessment centre.
Yeah, I don't mind taking this, and then Liv, if you can feel free to jump in. But I think at Aldi we don't look for a specific person, kind of like personality traits or skill sets. I think it's a really nice environment where everyone absolutely plays the part and they can bring kind of all the different qualities. It's absolutely not a disadvantage to be an introvert. You can absolutely bring kind of your experience, your new ideas that others might not have to the role. So I absolutely would not worry about that at all. And I like to think as well that we have a really collaborative environment here at Aldi. So everyone's ideas, everyone's kind of involved in conversations, they're absolutely taken into consideration, and everyone works really collaboratively. It is a really nice environment where you do feel comfortable that you can share kind of like, you know, thoughts, feelings, suggestions, ideas. That's how I'd kind of like focus it from my perspective. Happy for you to jump in.
No, well, I was a massive introvert myself. Still am in some ways, but definitely found some growth here, being a bit more vocal and outspoken. But in terms of the interview, you also do need to remember, as much as you are working collaboratively with other people, you are also being individually assessed, which is it's kind of a bit of a balancing act sometimes. You do want to, you know, show off, but you also want to rein it back and let other people shine, because that's what a good team makes. So I think when it comes to, you know, being a bit introverted before, you know, an assessment, I actually got my friends to play out on with me. And if you go to your university boards, they will do mock assessment, group assessments. So go practice. I think if you're nervous about it or you're, you know, a bit anxious, I think practice will just ease you into the situation a bit more. You kind of know what to expect. That was definitely the case with my university in Cardiff. I came to my assessment day at Aldi and I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew what was kind of expected of me. So I think that's the best preparation you can take, especially if you're a bit more of an introverted self.
Millie just asked, well, you mentioned the QR code, and she's just asked in the chat if you have the link, if you could drop the link in the chat. She's on her phone, so she can't actually do the QR code, so that would be great. And she also asked, where will the assessment centre take place? I think she's talking geographically.
Great, yeah, good question. So it depends on what placement that you apply for. So if you're looking to apply for our retail management placement, those group assessments are typically done virtually over Teams, just because geographically we recruit across the UK, so it's just a lot easier to have everyone on the virtual Teams group assessment. However, if you're applying for one of our head office placements, we do tend to do a milk round style assessment, whereby we hold in-person group assessments at our Atherstone head office near Birmingham. And that's how we do it for the head office placement. So virtually, retail management, head office, in person in Atherstone.
Great. Mohammed asked if someone's already completed a degree from university, would they be eligible for the placement programme?
So unfortunately not at this moment in time. We don't have anything kind of like in terms of internships or kind of shorter programs. We do just have the full year in industry placement that takes place between second and third years of university. However, if you're interested in having a career with us, then absolutely do check out our recruitment website. Like we said, kind of Afonso touched on it in his video. He returned as an area manager. So absolutely check out the website and have a little look, and there could be something there for you as well.
Sue wonders what degree you need. Business, question mark?
So again, really good question. Something that I really like about Aldi is that you don't need a specific degree skill set to join the company. We've had a lot of people join from kind of like different walks and backgrounds, you know, biology, chemistry, psychology, history. You can come from kind of any degree discipline. I know, Liv, as well, you found from coming from university as well, it is a very varied offering that we have. So we don't ask for anything specific in terms of degree disciplines.
Jess asked, will she get onto the graduate degree, the graduate program by doing this?
It depends. So essentially, there is an opportunity to return after graduation if you perform well on your placement. You do need a recommendation from your hiring manager prior to kind of like looking towards returning after you finish graduating. So it absolutely does depend, but yeah, just make sure that you do perform well on your placement, and you can absolutely have those conversations with your hiring manager.
Bonnie wants to know, is there a maximum age limit for the scheme?
No, absolutely not. Just providing that you are in your second year, between your second and third years of university. Absolutely, no age limit to join us.
And how many candidates are chosen each year for the scheme?
Again, it depends year on year. We essentially get sent a summary from the different hiring managers across the business, across the different departments, and it really does vary year on year. So I couldn't give you a round figure, unfortunately, but all of kind of our up-to-date information in terms of what's available right now will be on our placement tab on our Aldi recruitment website. So everything's kept up to date there.
Great. Harry wants to know what your favourite role has been.
Do you want to answer that?
Favorite role so far. I've done multiple things. I'm literally just at my 12-week mark, so I'll be here for 3 months. So far, I've done a mixture of headhunting, screening. I've worked on LinkedIn, trying to, recruit through LinkedIn. So far, my role is I've kind of seen kind of both the entry-level role all the way up to a supervisor role. And so far, I love it. I didn't even know, like, coming into this placement, like, if I wanted to do HR. It was just an idea I had. But the past 3 months have really cemented my passion almost for it.
Well, with that's the HR role. You obviously have got a whole raft of different ones. What sort of other things are on offer?
Yes, so this year I'll be part of 9 teams. So I'll be part of diversity and inclusion. I'll be part of employment law, training programs. I'll be part of some more like higher up recruitment. So I do work with Nicola at some point, helping her employ, graduate IP, assistant manager roles, area managers. So that'll be quite exciting. And then I'm also with PR and marketing at one point, so looking at advertising for roles. And then what else am I with? Oh, health and safety, insurance.
I think maybe we're asking. There's the HR scheme, but there are other schemes besides HR.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't mind taking this one.
That's a good one.
Fab, no problem. So yes, we have a couple of opportunities in our head office placements in various departments. So we do have our buy-in department, and under that falls our sustainability placement. So of course, all things sustainability and keeping our business, guiding towards that net zero target, kind of keeping that carbon neutral, all things sustainability and bettering the planet. That's where that sits. We do have national IT placements as well. So, we've got, for example, our Ahead project, working on kind of aligning all of our kind of like global Aldi processes into one. So really, really exciting, huge, large scale activity project to be getting involved with there. So massive opportunity there in IT. We do also have national supply chain management. So again, everything through logistics, warehouse, operations, kind of like getting A to B essentially, working on those effectively. And we also have customer interaction placement, and underneath that falls marketing and communications as well. So essentially, you know, how we present ourselves externally, how we present ourselves internally, how we communicate with our stakeholders, our customers, agencies, external providers, and how we really streamline our messaging as well inside our business too. So lots of different activities going on in head office. And then, of course, our retail management placement, we have select regions across the UK open too. So as we kind of touched on in the webinar, we do have kind of store time within that, and then head office time as well, where you get to kind of work with other colleagues, shadow other colleagues as well.
That's a very good answer. You mentioned logistics because Gavin had asked about that one specifically. So that's your question answered, Gavin. Dave also asked, can you swap a scheme if you change your mind?
As far as I'm aware, I don't think you can. I think it would be case by case, but ideally, we'd really want you to do your research behind kind of what the role expectation is, kind of like what we're looking for, what the set kind of training plan looks like, and really make sure that it is for you, because of course we really invest in kind of anyone who joins Aldi, so we would just really want to retain them essentially. So definitely do your research and just make sure that it's definitely for you.
I think you've answered this question already, but Ellis was asking, do you defo get onto the grad scheme if you from doing this?
We can't say for definite, just because it really does depend on, you know, how you perform, kind of how conversations go internally, and what that looks like. And then, of course, you will need that 2-1 degree, undergraduate degree, as well as part of our criteria requirements. So it is, again, a case-by-case process. We'd absolutely love to promise that, but it does depend. You just need to, you know, really work hard, really prove yourself. And like we've said, we have had placement colleagues join us back on the grad route. So it is completely possible.
Yeah, I think that's a really good answer. Ellis asked what kind of projects do the interns get to work on, which I think you already have mentioned some of the different roles, didn't you, Liv, of what you were doing. Would you say you're given real responsibility, or is it more shadowing?
Definitely in my first 2 weeks, I definitely shadowed, but I didn't really have anything else to learn, I guess. I was completely fresh to HR. I'd never really studied it full on, so shadowing was the basis of my first few weeks here. But since then, I'm now running the LinkedIn headhunting. I'm running also total job headhunting. I screen. I do all the same roles as all the other employees now. Reply to emails from you know, we're screening candidates. So calling AMs, going on calls with, you know, people who run the warehouse regions, and yeah, I'm fully immersed into the culture of Aldi now and into the role, and I move around roles all the time, and each time it's that little training period where there is that shadowing and trying to understand, you know, the role itself and what you need to know to fill out the role. But as soon as that period's over, you are given full responsibility, and this is your time to shine. Essentially, it's to show your performance. And as Nicola says, like, that graduate AM role, that was a major thing that attracted me to this placement, is the opportunity that potentially I could get it if I perform well. Given that responsibility, you want to perform well, and you're very intensely listening during that very short training time, because you want to show them that, you know, you're an asset, basically. So the responsibility part of it is super important, and it is there.
Great. Well, we've done a fantastic job getting through the questions. Before we sign off this session, I'm wondering, Nicola, if you have any kind of parting words to specifically these 200 odd people who are with us now and people who may be looking at this on record later.
Yeah, of course. Again, just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone that attended or everyone who's watching the recorded video, and of course Careermap as well for working with us. But again, like I've said, huge takeaways from this would definitely to be do your research on Aldi, do your research on kind of like the exact placement that you're looking for, and just really be yourself if you do get to those assessment stages, because, you know, like we've said, we are looking for, you know, people to bring all kind of different ideas, all different personalities, and just really working collaboratively together. But yeah, just be really passionate about, you know, what you want out of this placement as much as, you know, what we want out of yourself. But yeah, I think that's all of my parting words. But yeah, thank you so much.
Great. Well, I think we've had a really, really active chat going on. So thank you for showing all of your interest. We've had a great session here with Aldi. Like I said, it has been recorded. I've put the link in the chat for you to click through if you want to see it. We also, if you just Google Careermap TV on YouTube, you can find us there as well. So thank you again, Aldi, for joining us. Thank you, everybody in the audience, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.